Well, good morning. How you doing today? All right, I know you were woken up in the middle of the night because of tornado warnings, but you can do better than that, right? Okay, how you guys doing today? All right, I am excited to be here, and we're in this series, Key to Everything. We'll get to that in a moment, but one thing I did want to do is, since we're in the middle of our 21 days of prayer, I wanted to invite you to pray with me for a moment. There's a lot of people affected by the storms last night. And so what I'd like to do is just kind of pray for them. Can we do that together as a church family? All right, I want you to just maybe join the hands of the person beside you or pray wherever you are. Father, right now we ask that you could do what only you can do, that you would take a negative situation and turn it into something positive, that the detriment that has happened in people's lives last night, God, that you would do something in them, Father, and through them, God, and for them that would be taken as a positive thing, Lord Jesus. And we're asking that in your name. And together we say, amen. Now, we're in this series, Key to Everything, and we've done that to help you start this year better than you've ever started before. Because I believe that this will be the best year of your life if it's the best year of your life spiritually. So we've done a couple things. 21 days of prayer is one of the things we're doing, and this is day number 8. So if you haven't joined us yet, that's okay. You don't have to say, oh man, I missed 21 days of prayer. No, you have 14 days of prayer now, okay? So you can do that math real quick. Okay, 14 days of prayer. And I'm fasting as well. So if you guys want to fast right along with me, you can go to our website and click on the 21 days of prayer link, and it'll give you more details about fasting. Or you can follow along on our blog. We give you daily verses and inspiration on the regular basis so that you can pray with us as a church family for those 21 days. And then also, another way we want you to help make this year great is with this series, The Key to Everything. And everyone asks when you say the key to everything, well, what is the key to everything? Well, we're basing it on a book by Matt Keller, and that key to everything that he talks about is teachability. And if we have teachability, we're going to be able to grow. And this week, we're going to take a chapter from that book, The Key to Everything, and we're going to dive in a little deeper. Before I do, though, I have a question for you, all right? The question is, how many of you know that person that things always seem to go their way? You know that person? Like 2 hands go up. Like everything they touch goes to gold. They're successful. Like if they ran for president and were on American Idol this year, they would win both of them, right? Like one of those kind of people. Anybody know someone like that? They drive you nuts, don't they? You're like, yeah, okay, maybe that's jealousy. How many know the opposite of that, though? Someone who every decision they make seems to take them down a wrong turn. Every person they meet is a bad person. Like every dating relationship they've ever had has been terrible. Like every business venture they jump into is kind of like, I know that's going to fail just because it's you, right? Like anybody know those kind of people? You're like, I am that person, right? Is that you? Is anybody else? And I look at these two groups and I wonder, what is the difference between these two groups? The people that seem to have it all moving forward, and everyone else who seems that it's like just slowing them out. They just keep tripping up and tripping up, tripping up. Well, according to his book, Matthew Keller, in this chapter, he defines one word, or gives us one word that really makes a difference between those who move forward fast and those who seem to stumble along through life. And you want to know what that one word is? Nobody's here. Nobody wants to know. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, the word is wisdom. Wisdom. The difference between moving forward quicker than you've ever moved before or stumbling through life, that one word difference that they give us is wisdom. And wisdom's a pretty important word, isn't it? It's something that can help us move further faster, or without it, we will stumble through life. And so today I've got some questions I want to ask, not of you, but answer these questions together. So I've got 4 questions. And the first question is really simple. What is wisdom? If that's what we're talking about today, let's all get on the same page and all have a similar definition. And when we get on that same page and have a similar definition, we can begin to work through what wisdom is in our lives. So first question is, what is wisdom? Here's the dictionary definition of wisdom. The quality or state of being wise, which I thought, my teachers always taught me, if I wanted to define something, I can't use the root word in it. So I was like, okay, dictionary, I got you, all right? Okay, and so the quality of state of being wise, and then this, knowledge of what is true or right coupled with just judgment as to action. Now, if you're like me, how many of you read that definition and it just went like whoosh, right over your head? You're like, I ain't getting anything out of that. Anybody else? Okay, just me, that's fine. All right, check this out. This is the practical definition that I'm going to give to you today. This is how we're going to define wisdom together. The first part is knowing the right thing to do. But that's not enough by itself, because if you know the right thing to do, that is knowledge, right? It has to be coupled with something else. knowing the right thing to do and doing it at the right time. When we know what to do, when we have the knowledge, but we never do it, it's not wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge applied to our life within the right timing. So how many of you have ever been in a situation, you know the right thing to say, but you've said it at the wrong time? Right? Like when you're in an argument with someone, and all of a sudden you start bringing things out that are like, that you should deal with from the past, but it maybe not at that exact moment. Was that a wise moment for you? Not at all, right? Because wisdom is knowing the right thing to do and doing it at the right time. And that's what I want for all of your lives. I want you to take wisdom into your life. I want you to take wisdom and put it deep in your soul and then take it out at the right time. Apply that knowledge to who you are and let God work through you in those seasons. So doing it at the right time, having the knowledge and then doing it at the right time. In the book of Proverbs, which is the Old Testament list or book of knowledge or wisdom written by a guy named Solomon. And Solomon was the wisest man who had ever lived. He was the son of King David. King David was the David and Goliath David. His son became king. His name was Solomon. And Solomon wrote this incredible book of wisdom. And let me show you the purpose of this book. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1 says this. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel. Their purpose is to teach people wisdom. If you want wisdom, shouldn't you read a book that's written about wisdom? Right? So it's written to help you gain wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. To help you understand the insights of the wise. All of us need more wisdom in our lives. I'm convinced of that. But where we get it is key. And the Bible has an entire book devoted just towards this wisdom. Proverbs chapter 8, verses 1 through 4, takes it a step further. Listen as wisdom calls out. Wisdom isn't just waiting for you to come to it. Wisdom is actually calling on you. And then it goes on, hear as understanding raises her voice. This is a fun little fact for you, ladies. In the book of Proverbs, wisdom is always referred to as a woman. Men, we are in trouble, okay? As if they weren't right all the time already. Now they have the Bible backing them up, okay? It's hard to win a fight now, guys, okay? Wisdom, but joking aside, wisdom has this female voice. It's an influencer. And so every time wisdom is referred to, the book of Proverbs uses the word wisdom, understanding, sometimes knowledge, but it's always a female. And look what she's doing. She's calling to you, and she's saying on the hilltop along the road, she's calling out, hey, listen to me. When you're on the mountaintop of life, wisdom's saying, hey, I've got the next step for you. And then it goes on, she takes her stand at the crossroads. So when you have multiple paths that you need to have before you, you could take the left, the right, the center. You have multiple job offers. You have multiple, whatever's in front of you. She's standing there at the crossroads going, I can help you make a wise decision. By the gates at the entrance to the town. So you've been somewhere you've never been before. She's there calling. And on the road leading in, she cries aloud, and look what she says. I call to you, to all of you. I raise my voice to all people. Wisdom is not for a select few, but wisdom is available to all of us. And she's calling out. Wisdom is calling to us and saying, hey, you need me in your life. It's important that I'm a part of your life. It continues, this chapter 8, verse 11 says this, for wisdom is far more valuable than rubies. You need wisdom because you may want riches and wealth. You may want those things, but wisdom is saying, if you have me, I can take you further faster. I can help you make the right decisions. And nothing you desire can compare with it. Wisdom, if you have to achieve one thing in life, gain wisdom. And all these other things will start to grow inside of you as well. There's another book that I want to let you know about. We're doing this book, Key to Everything by Matt Keller, but there's another one by Andy Stanley, and he talks about wisdom in it. It's called Ask It. And the entire premise of this book is on one question. And so I highly suggest you pick up this book. It's one of my favorite reads. As soon as I read it, I began to ask the question. And the question of the whole book is, what is the wise thing to do? What's the wise thing to do? He wrote a whole book about it. I know, it's one. He probably could have made it a brochure. That's what one friend of mine says. But anyway, but this entire book, the whole thing is, what is the wise thing to do? And if you think about it, that's a pretty powerful question. Not what can I afford when I'm buying something, right? Not what do I want to do. Not what do I feel like doing, not even what is the right thing to do or the moral thing to do. What is the wise thing to do? And if you can't think of the wise thing to do, maybe you could ask it like this. If a wise person were in my position, what would they do? And then go and do what that wise person would have done, right? So we need to gain wisdom. And when we begin to think on the lines of wisdom, we begin to understand things differently, and our life begins to change. I've been asking that question since I read the book, and over the last year and a half, our life has changed a lot because of what we've been able to do, asking the question, what's the wise thing to do? We purchased a house this last year. What's the wise thing to do? Is it wise just to take out a loan for whatever they'll give me? Or live below my means, right? We're having another child. Am I insane or am I not insane? Which one is it? Baby number 4 on the way, What will it be? I've had to ask this question again and again. And if you start asking the questions about wisdom, I believe God's going to speak to you. And he's going to do something great in your life if we give him room to speak wisdom into us. All right, second question is this. What are the benefits of wisdom? So wisdom is defined. We know what it is. But why should I follow wisdom instead of feeling or fun or whatever else? What are the benefits of wisdom? Well, we're going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, and we're going to go through 6, 7, 8, 9, and eventually verse 10 in this section. Verses 6 and 7 say this, "For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless." Now, if we gain wisdom from him, or wisdom or knowledge and understanding, he holds success in store for us. And that's the first benefit or the first outcropping of wisdom in our life, success. If you want to be successful, shouldn't you gain wisdom? And I don't know a single person in life that goes, yeah, you know what, I'm going to pass on the whole success thing. I'm just going to, I'd rather fail at everything, TJ. Thanks, so I'm just going to take my notes, fold them up, and throw them in the trash later. Okay, nobody says that. Everybody wants to be successful. Well, how do we do that? Well, God says, if you follow my wisdom, I'm going to bring you success. The second thing from that verse is a shield. A shield. What does that mean? Well, let me give you an example. Friday night, I went and saw the new Star Wars movie. Any fans? Like 4 of you. That's great. I like you. You're cool. Now, I like the sci-fi world. I like watching those movies. I'm not as in deep as some people are, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't dress up or wait in line, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do that. But there's some people, and that's totally cool. If you've seen it 12 times already, totally fine, okay? Me, not my jam, okay? Not what I do. But I was watching the movie, and it's funny, in all of these Star Wars movies and other sci-fi kind of movies, the coolest part is the technology, right? Like there's all these things like lightsabers and tractor beams and someone's getting beamed up somewhere, all these cool, awesome kind of things. And when they get in a ship, every time they get under like gunfire, they're like flying along, they're like, oh no, enemies, and they shoot each other and everything like that. What's the first thing they do? They don't shoot back, they turn on the shield, right? Oh, turn on the force field so it protects us, right? And in my head I'm going, why do you ever turn it off? Why did you not leave it on the whole time? Why turn it off? Because then even if you're surprised, it doesn't matter. You just have a force field all the time. And I'm sure someone will meet me at the door and tell me why they turned it off for some reason. Whatever, okay. All that. But here's the deal. In your life, there's a shield that never goes off if you follow wisdom. There's a shield that never, because in your life, you need wisdom and you need protection from God, and you don't even know it yet. You don't even know what's coming at you. Stuff bounces off of you, and you don't even know it if you have a shield. And then he takes it a step further in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 8, and he says this, he guards the paths of the just, and he protects those who are faithful to him. He guards and he protects those who are faithful to him. What does that mean? That's like a shield, right? Or you could just write down in your notes if you're taking notes, guards and protects us. Because there's some stuff flying your way, right? There's a bad idea coming at you, a bad business investment, a bad relationship advice coming your way, and wisdom goes, no, that's stupid. I don't need that in my life. There's harm coming your way. There's something coming at you, and God says, when you're wise, I'm going to put that force field around you. I'm going to take care of you, and never turn it off. Follow wisdom. Follow wisdom. You want to know why people seem to have success after success after success when other people don't? It's because they're following wisdom. They're following what God's teaching them. They're following step by step by step. He guards and he protects us. Verse 9 continues. He says, then you will understand what is right. What is then? Well, when you follow wisdom, when you have wisdom in your life, then you'll understand what is right, just and fair, and you will find the right way to go. When you have wisdom, you'll know the right way to go. Or you could say it like this, you will understand the path we should take, or the path we should go upon, right? There's a direction in life that we need to take. And quite oftentimes we don't know which way to go. In my own life, there was a season in my life where I knew it was time for me and Leah to move on from one position to another. And we said, okay, God, where do you want us to go? So did the whole resume thing, submitted it to the World Wide Web, and let people call if they were interested, right? And I had this kind of freak out moment. I said, God, what if I get multiple offers and I don't know which one to take? And so, because I don't want to screw this up, God, I won't follow you. And so I prayed a prayer, so simple. I said, God, give me one option. That way, even dummy me can figure out how to open that one door. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't screw up one option, right? Please tell me I can't do that. And so I interviewed and I phone called and all these things. I did all these things, and guess how many options came up? One. And I walked through that door. And when that season was over there, I said, okay, God, now what? I have an idea, God. Let's do the same thing we did last time again. I go, give me one option, God. Give me one door. But he was silent. And all of a sudden, I had to go back to wisdom, and I had to go understanding and go, okay, God, what path are you taking me on? There's no doors opening up, God. What do you want me to do? And it wasn't a door that he wanted to open, but it was a path he wanted me to create. Or you could say it like this. Instead of opening a door, he wanted me to make a door. And so instead of finding a church that I could pastor at, he said, I want you to start a church where you can pastor and other people can discover their calling, and you can be the door for someone else to open. But that only came because his wisdom spoke to me, and I go, okay, I got to change my modus operandi. Right? I can't just pray the same prayer over and over again. God, open one door, open one door, open one door. I had to listen to him again and change the path, change the direction, and he made it clear to me. The same is true in your life. You've got something you're facing right now, and you do not know what to do. But God will make it clear. Don't go back to what was yesterday, but ask him again, God, what's the wise thing for me to do right here? Open a door, close a door, build a door, climb through the window, whatever, dig a hole, whatever it takes, right? Just, God, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Those are some of the benefits of wisdom. So if these things are also beneficial, the third question is especially important. Where do I get this wisdom, right? Like if wisdom is doing all these things in my life, if God gives us wisdom, where do I get it? How do I get it? How do I put it in my life? Well, the first source of wisdom is pretty obvious. I think we've been reading from the book of Proverbs. We've been reading from the Bible. So it's the Bible. The first source of wisdom for us is God's word. It's the Bible. And did you know there's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs? And there's usually 31 or so days in a month. Whoa, I'm blowing your mind, all right? So on the first day of every month, you could read Proverbs chapter 1 and get some wisdom. And on the second day of the month, you could read Proverbs chapter 2 and get some wisdom. And on the third day, you could read chapter 5. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I was messing with you guys. 3. It's 3. It's 3. Okay, read chapter 3. Just whatever day it is, read that chapter. Read that chapter, and by the end of a month, you'll go through the entire book of Proverbs. It'll take you about 5 minutes every day, and you're going to get some wisdom in you. Or a pastor I used to work with when I was growing up, he said, a proverb a day keeps the devil at bay. Yes, it's cheesy as it sounds. Okay. So, but that's true. And then look in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 20 through 22. They were making fun of me because I have a lot of verses today. They're like, you have 35 slides today, TJ. Sorry. Okay. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 20. My child, pay attention to what I say. This is Solomon speaking to us. Listen to the wisdom I'm giving. Listen carefully to my words. Don't lose sight of them. Let them penetrate deep into your heart, for they bring life to those who find them and healing to their whole body. I do not know a single person in this room that says, you know what, God, you have life and healing, and I don't want any of it. All of us want that. All of us want life and healing. And how do we get that? Oh, we let these words penetrate our hearts. We let them sink deep within us. If we want that in our life, we got to open up the Bible, and we have to read. We have to dive in. We have to let God do something in our hearts. We say, God, I'm gonna open your word. Please speak to me. Speak to me. I need some wisdom right now. Speak to me. Proverbs 2:10 is an example. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. If you're in a situation where you don't have much joy, It's time to bust open God's word, get some wisdom, get some knowledge. And out of that time, that low time in your life, God can bring joy right out of it. We got to get it from his word. The second place that we get it is that we ask for it. If you want wisdom, ask. Ask. Just ask God. And I think sometimes we kind of get confused. We go, God, why haven't you given it? Well, maybe we just haven't asked. You say, God, please give me wisdom. So before you go into that business meeting at work, what do? You ask God for wisdom, right? Before you meet with someone that the situation is tense, maybe it's a relationship or a business partnership, or maybe it's even your own family, what do? You pray for wisdom, right? Just ask for wisdom. Every time, before you do anything, ask for wisdom. Pray first. That's why we give out these bracelets that say, pray first. God, give me wisdom in this. God, please make me understand what's going on here. James chapter 1, verse 5 says this: if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. This is one of the prayers that God says, if you ask it, I want to give it to you. I want to give you more wisdom. I want to do something inside of you. I want to help you grow. Just got to ask for it. And then the third one is wise people. Wise people. How do we get wisdom? You got to have some smart people in your life, right? Some wise people. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You can find wise people of every age demographic. As long as they're trending closer to God, they're gaining wisdom, right? So grab those people in your life. Put them around you. Get wise people. I love this verse in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. That's it. That's pretty simple, isn't it? Hey, I need some wisdom. Oh, you look wise. Can I walk with you? Can I talk? Can I have a conversation with you? But maybe, some of us are trending this way, and we're going, you know what, things are going well for us. Other of us are stumbling. Maybe it's not the fact that we haven't read our Bible enough, or we haven't asked God for wisdom, but we've been hanging out with dummies. Like, I'm just saying that out loud to everybody right now, okay? Maybe we're just hanging out with bad people. And we're associating with fools, and we're getting in trouble, and we're going, God, why am I in so much trouble? Maybe we're just hanging around with the wrong people. Or maybe we haven't found enough wise people in our life. And everyone who comes to me for premarital counseling, before they get married, if I do their wedding, I have them sit down in my office a couple times, we talk. And I ask them, who is your model couple? Like who's a couple that you see as a successful marriage that you want to emulate? That you can call on the phone, ask them how to do things. Why do I just say that? Because they need to associate with someone who's wise. And I think sometimes pride keeps us away from that. Like you're struggling at work and the guy down the hall is killing it. What's stopping you from walking down the hall and going, hey, you're doing awesome. I'm not doing so awesome. How you do it? Right? How do you do that? What's stopping us? Pride? Is that the only thing? If pride is the only thing between you and wisdom, you need to shut that down. Or maybe your marriage isn't going as well, but someone else's is, and you need to shut down the pride and just ask them, hey, how do you do this whole married thing? Guys talk with guys, girls talk with girls, right? Or parenting. Maybe your kids are driving you nuts, and that family over there looks like their kids are driving them less nuts, you know? And you ask them, what do you do? You know, do you spank them? Do you put them to bed? Do you give them candy when they're whatever? Like whatever. Like what are you doing, man? Ask them some questions, right? Like what are you doing? Ask for help. Because what's worse? Being a fool because you never asked for help, or looking foolish because you did ask for help? Being foolish because you never asked for help and staying there is far worse than you trying to get better. Try to get better. Overcome the foolishness, the look of it, and keep going. All right, number 4. What are some of the wisdoms or examples of wisdom in Proverbs? Now, I'm going to bust through this real quick. So if you're taking notes, I've got like 7 or 8 little points here for you. I'm going to go through them real fast, okay? The first one, this is throughout the book of Proverbs. It's the generosity principle. Give freely and become more wealthy. Be stingy and lose everything. That's really countercultural, isn't it? If we're looking at the world around us and they say, hey, you want to become successful, you want to become prosperous, what do you have to do? You have to gather to yourself and give nothing away. But Solomon's saying, no, that's not wisdom. That's not wisdom. If you're stingy, if you keep it all to yourself, it's going to go away from you. But when you're a generous person, you're going to be refreshed. Check it out. The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. That doesn't mean you can't be wealthy, doesn't mean you can't have stuff, doesn't mean you can't have things. But that wealth and that stuff and those things cannot have you. Make sure that your life is positively influencing someone else's, because God gave you those resources to impact the world around you. And he's saying the generosity principle is so powerful, because if you're not feeling refreshed, maybe the first thing we need to do is go refresh someone else, and that refreshing will come back to us. The next principle is this, the watch your mouth principle. I like this one. This is going to go up in my girls' bedroom if they ever start talking back to me, okay? Check it out. Proverbs 13:3. Those who control their tongue will have a long life, and if you talk back to your dad again, he'll kill you. That's the parentheses part I'll put in there. Opening your mouth can ruin everything. Have you ever opened your mouth in a conversation and ruined that conversation? Have you ever ruined a relationship with one sentence? Shouldn't have said that. Remember, wisdom is the right thing at the right time. And sometimes we just need to shut our mouth, right? Elsewhere in the book of Proverbs it says, even a fool is thought wise if he keeps his mouth shut. Sometimes the wisest thing we can do is not talk. You ever think of that? Like maybe people don't really need to know our opinion that much, even though we're ready to give it. Zip it, man. You're going to look a lot smarter too. All right, next principle is this, the encouragement principle. Worry weighs a person down, an encouraging word cheers a person up. The encouragement principle. When we're down, someone, if they give us kind words, it lifts us up. But sometimes it's hard to find that person that's an encourager. So instead of looking for an encourager, why don't we just become one? And instead of being the one that needs encouragement, that we ourselves would pour out encouragement. And in doing that, the first principle comes back into play. That the generosity factor comes back. That when we refresh someone else with our encouraging words, it's going to come back on us, and God's going to build us up. So today, by the time you leave, take your phone out, text someone. Hey, I think you're awesome. God's using you in a great way. Been praying for you. I know that you've been struggling recently, but you've got this, right? Just text them. Bring some encouragement to them, okay? Lift them up. The next one is the wise counsel principle. Without wise leadership, a nation fails. There is safety in having many advisors. Without wise leadership, a nation fails. You could really put almost any word in there involving leadership. Think about it. Without wise leadership, a family fails. Isn't that true? Without wise leadership, a business fails. Without wise leadership, a life, your life, could fail. We all need wisdom, don't we? We all need wisdom in our lives. So we need to gather around wise people. We need to hang around with wise people, have those model couples for the marriages, or if you're single, find a single person that's doing single well, or if you have kids, work with someone with kids, whatever it takes. Just find wise people in your life again and again. The next one is the little by little principle. Little by little. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. If you went to a financial advisor today and you wanted to put some money away, they'd talk to you about dollar cost averaging. What is that? That's this, little by little, piece by piece. And this wisdom that Solomon wrote about thousands and thousands of years ago is still being used today in our marketplace. Another, this is the NIV, the New International Version. The New Living Translation says it a little bit differently. Look what he says. Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. You ever meet those people that always have the newest, latest, greatest idea to make $1.5 million, right? And all I need from you is $30 to get in on the ground floor, right? You ever meet people like that? Don't do it, okay? Don't do it, because it's going to trap you. It as easily as it comes is as easy as it goes. Wealth from hard work grows over time. If you work hard and you work harder and you save little by little, it grows. And which leads us to our next principle, which is, I think, my favorite one, the shut up and work principle. Because some people are really good at talking, and they need to learn how to work a little better, right? Look what it says. Work brings profit. Just memorize that one, okay? But mere talk leads to poverty. Work brings profit. I think sometimes, maybe speaking on behalf of my generation mostly, we're allergic to work sometimes. We go, oh yeah, that's a really cool idea, but it seems like a lot of work. Whatever, work brings profit. If we don't work, we don't profit, right? Put that one on your kid's bedroom door too later on. Okay, the next one is the God knows principle, and this is the last one, the God knows principle. And this one is probably the hardest, but the most important of them all. The God knows principle. Because I have expectations in life, and all of us make our plans. Maybe you call them resolutions, a bucket list, a 5-year plan, whatever you want to call it. We all have aspirations that we'd like to see happen in our life. But sometimes those things don't happen, do they? And we call those unmet expectations. But here's the deal. Even when you don't know what's happening, God knows what's happening. And that's the God knows principle. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 9. We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. We can make a plan, but really, in reality, it's the step-by-step, the day-by-day, the moment-by-moment process of achieving that is not completely within our control, but God knows. And we may not know everything, but the one thing we can be sure of is that He knows and that we can place our life and our trust in Him. That even when we don't know and it doesn't seem like things are going the way we want, He is ultimately in control. And if I have faith in Him, I'm okay with that. And it's in this faith in Him where we find the root of wisdom. Wisdom is found in a faith in God. True wisdom. I mean, we can learn dollars and cents, and we can learn certain psychological things of how to get along with people better, and all those other things. Those are all great pieces. But at the end of the day, what really matters is if I can take my faith and place it in someone bigger than me. Because even when I don't know, He does. And as I walk in faith, I grow in my wisdom, the wisdom that only He can give. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to pray with you guys. Pray that this God who gives wisdom would give wisdom to you today. And if you've never started a relationship with Him, to get this faith life going, to have this wisdom imparted into you, I'd like to pray a prayer that's so simple. It just says, God, I give You my life. I give my old life, take it away. I want a new life in You. I want new wisdom in You. That's you this morning. I'd like to pray. So if you don't mind, maybe every eye closed, head bowed, no one moving around or looking around, just so you can have a moment with God. And the prayer is very simple. It just says, God, I give You my life. I want a new life in You. And I'll help you with the words. And you can pray something like this quietly where you are. Jesus, thank You for Your forgiveness. Thank You for the sacrifice of Your life for mine, that I may be made new in You, that I may have wisdom from You. And as I grow in my faith, God, I pray right now that my wisdom would grow as well. Thank You, Jesus. You know we pray. Amen.